And now it's time for another edition of the 12th Man Fan Jam. With your host, the Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, magic voice of the 12th Man Fan Jam. It is indeed I, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity, and thank you all so much for making us an important part of your Seahawk pregame tradition. This is a very special holiday edition of the 12th Man Fan Jam show tonight, where we try our best to quench your Seahawks fix for about an hour. So make yourself a list and check it twice, but remember, we know if you've been naughty or nice. Joining myself this week is a present of entertainment unwrapped for you this evening for your listening pleasure. The Positivity panel is geared up and ready to take on another wonderful Seahawk football show. As usual, we are joined by my partner in crime. He's a jolly old elf. From across the big pond of merry old England, it's Matt.
Ho, 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 good evening.
That's what she said.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. And there is our version of the New York Times, our news hound. This 12th man editorial can be found on SeahawksSouth.com. He is Will.
Good evening. And Moses, I'm not wearing the elf costume you picked out for me. I don't do tights, buddy. Sorry.
I'm only slightly disappointed. Only slightly. But thanks for being honest, although I can see you anyway. Also joining us is our accountant of stats. He is our accountant. He is the Statsman Mark.
Hey, everybody. This is Mark from sunny California, where I think it was over 65 today. I was pretty happy with that.
And we hate you for that. And
yes, we do.
Tonight we're joined by a special guest from the Midwest Seahawkers, and his name is Scott.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for coming on,
good
Scott.
evening.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
What's Scott?
Welcome aboard, Scott. And Scott, tell everyone a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you're at right now, and why the Seahawks.
Well, I live in McHenry, Illinois, right at the Wisconsin-Illinois border. We're basically right smack dab in Packer Bear country. And yeah, I became a Seahawk fan back in '76 when they started. And I've been loyal ever since. The Largent, Zorn years, and I've just stuck with them ever since. Actually, I've been president of the Midwest chapter a couple times, secretary-treasurer, but now I just help out whenever I can with Peter Flores and the group. But yeah, I'm one of the original members of the Midwest Seahawkers.
And you'll never find a more hardcore and faithful and wonderful fan as Scott. I can tell you that from personal experience. He's a unbelievable Seahawk fan. And I know that everyone's really anxious to get back to the show and see how the show goes. So here's how the show is formatted. Our 12th Man Fan Jam show is broken down into 4 quarters and 2 2-minute warnings, just like a real NFL game. In quarter 1, we'll hear from Shadowhawk Will and all the news we may have missed the last week or so, since we were probably wrapping and shopping for Christmas and holiday gifts. Quarter 2 is going to be spent with the good, bad, and ugly from last week's 23-0 victory over the Giants. And of course, we're going to hear about our predictions, our prognostications, and which is bigger from last week. And at the end of the first quarter, we will also have a special word from our sponsor. At the end of the second quarter, we'll have halftime. We'll have a musical treat this week. In honor of the holidays, our own Matt is going to grace us with a musical salute to the 12 days of Christmas, Seahawk style. So that's something to look forward to. The third quarter will be spent with our Statsman Mark analyzing the stats for the upcoming game. And finally, fourth quarter will be spent giving out our predictions, prognostications for the upcoming the upcoming Sunday football game between your Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals. So as you listen, we'd like to remind you that we would love to hear from you. It's all we want from Christmas is hearing from you. So the email is on your screen right now. Drop us a line or two. Wish us a happy holiday. Say hi. We like email. We'd love to hear from you. But first, before we start the show, we have a new segment where one of the panelists discuss one of their most cherished Seahawk memories, and a segment without a theme song yet called, interestingly enough, Seahawk Memories. And what you see right now on your screen is a picture that was sent to us by Scott. Scott, if you can explain what's in this picture and what it means to you.
Well, I have as a lot of people do, we've got our Seahawk memorabilia, And I've got a room in my basement that we've converted over to a Seahawk room, and I've got things in there, and I pulled out a couple that mean a lot to me. The first one I don't have in the picture, but I've got a ball that I had signed by the '87 team when we stayed with the team in Chicago. I've got guys like Steve Largent and Eugene Robinson, Kenny Easley, Rusty Tillman, Chuck Knox, things like that on there. But then the blue helmet on the left that you see, that's signed by some of the guys. That was a Super Bowl year. We always go down to St. Louis for the game, and we meet up with the guys afterwards as they're coming out to the buses. So I've got, Matt Hasselbeck, Kenny Lucas, Josh Brown, Seneca, Grant Wistrom, Steve Hutchinson, guys like that on there. So that means a lot. And then the silver helmet was, we did a trip down to Tampa Bay and got a lot of guys to sign it. We stayed in the hotel. We were lucky enough to stay in the hotel with them there too, and got Hall of Famers on there too. Got Cortez and some other players, Michael Sinclair, Rick Meyer, good guys like that, Mac Strong, long history with the Seahawks, good guys, and they were great to meet. The ball that you see there, I got personally from Matt Hasselbeck's uncle. We met him down in Indianapolis. It was probably our first year together as the Midwest Seahawkers, and just happened to run into this guy that was a Seahawk fan, and come to find out that Matt was his nephew. And he actually sent me that ball, and I, treasure that ball because it came right from Matt. So just some of the stuff that I have in my room. It's a lot of neat memories there.
Very cool. Hey, would you, before we go on to news, would you mind sharing what happened to you was it a Hall of Fame this year with Mr. Largent?
Oh, that story. Yeah, that was
real quick.
I have a 50-50 jersey, half home, half away, that a friend of mine had made for me when I left the fire department. And I was wearing the jersey in the hopes that Steve was in the parade this year because they had a lot of returning Hall of Famers. And I was standing on the side of the road, and Steve was in one of the last groups that came down the road. And I stood on the side of the road, and the driver saw me first, and he hit Steve on the knee, and he's like, "Look at that." And they called me out to the roadway to stand next to Steve, and they said, "Hey, turn around." And Steve actually signed the back of my 50-50 jersey for me. So that was a pretty special moment for me.
That's pretty awesome.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome?
Nice.
Awesome.
That's fantastic. But you know what else is fantastic? Our news hound is fantastic, and it's time for the news. Yes, spinning you around the globe of the NFL while you were busy out shopping for that perfect Christmas gift. Our own Will Shadowhawk knows the news. Will, what do you got for us this evening?
Well, the FCC, an FCC panel has unanimously recommended that it wants to either change or eliminate this blackout rule in professional sports, making it illegal for any sports league, but primarily the NFL, because that's where most blackouts happen these days, prohibiting sports leagues from blacking out any game locally that's televised anywhere else. The NFL, however, is not happy with this. NFL spokesman Brian McCarthy said, quote, "We will strongly oppose any change in the rule." Kind of interesting, though. You know how many blackouts we've had so far this year?
I would guess none.
One,
isn't it? One.
Oh, there was a blackout.
Yeah.
The Winers game, wasn't it?
Actually, it was a San Diego game.
Was it?
Yeah.
Ah.
But yeah, it's not with the rule change that teams can avoid blackouts by only selling 85% of tickets and then buying the rest up at 34 cents on the dollar. Blackouts just aren't that common in the NFL anymore.
No, they're not. Well, it's an amazingly wildly popular thing. I don't think the 12th man, I don't think we have to worry about that, even if they were to show them on TV at home. It's more comfortable at home. But for me, there's nothing like being at the stadium, especially when you're a fan of this team.
By the way, you know the last Seahawks game that was blacked out?
Oof.
Season opener 2003 against the Saints.
Wow.
Wow.
Even through the Moore era, they made it.
That was the game where Ken Hamlin nearly knocked Dante Stallworth's head off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was kind of the start of that whole day, the new uniforms, wasn't it?
The previous year, I think.
Previous year, right.
Yeah.
But that was the start of like the new era of Seahawk football with Hasselbeck and that crew, wasn't it? 2003. They started to come around a little bit.
I was actually at that game. Oh, funny. I was at that game against the Saints in 2003.
Oh, that's cool.
That's one of the ones I flew up for.
Very cool.
Good
It's
timing.
interesting. Over here in the UK, we get two blackouts normally on the Game Pass because we have to watch it via that. And the Winers game was a blackout, the last one we just had, and it's so expensive for us. For me, I had to pay the equivalent about $40 to be able to get hold of the program to be able to watch it on Sky. And you only get one play out of that, so you pay $40 for one show. So and we lost, so it was crap. So it was $40 and I lost. I want my money back.
Well, those of us who live across the globe and away from Seattle, like Scott, and Matt, and Mark, and myself, yeah, we don't have a problem with blackouts, do we, Scott?
No.
But that being said, we'd rather be at the game, I think. But
it's almost been 4 years since I blacked out. So
I have my own. So you think?
Beautiful. Well done, and the first shot's been fired. Will, what else you got for us?
Well, Jerry Jones just can't keep from putting his foot in his mouth sometimes. In one of his radio appearances, he's talking about some of his injured players, and may not have phrased it just quite right. Talking to Sherian Williams of the Fort Worth Star-Telegraph, Jones said, quote, "We lost players last year, but we've had a healthy Tony Romo. That ought to be able to help us get back some of this inadequacy with some of our personnel." And of course, that's all the more amusing when you consider that he is the general manager and the personnel are there because he put them there.
Oh, beautiful.
He's just a death wish on his own team, that bloke, isn't he?
He is. It's funny you bring up Jerry Jones because, as we know, during this show, occasionally we get some tweets from our friend Michael Silver, who has been known to have some rather questionable unnamed sources. And it just so happens that we have our first news-breaking tweet from Michael Silver right now.
What's he going to say?
Yes, an unnamed source has told Michael Silver that Santa was recruited by Cowboy owner Jerry Jones to play defensive line for him.
He'll take anybody he can get at this point.
Right now, I think the Elves would do a better job. But
dear me.
Yeah, that line is just atrocious. I mean, they got nobody left.
Wow.
And the people they had weren't that good to begin with.
No, they were not. And no, they are not. But I enjoy watching them. I don't know about the rest of you. Apparently not. Okay.
No, not at all.
Not at all. No, they're rubbish. Rubbish. I'm going to call them rubbish from now on. The Cowboys are rubbish.
Or trash, depending on,
I like rubbish.
I like rubbish. It's kind of classier somehow.
The Cowboys are rubbish. What other rubbish you got for us, Will?
Well, sooner or later football season's going to end, and we're going to have to find something to do on the weekend.
Hey!
Ooh.
But
it's not so.
But 20 days after the Super Bowl, if you're in the neighborhood, and who won't be in New England at that point, you could always catch the New England Boat Show, which runs from February 22nd through March 2nd. And since it is near Boston, there are going to be some appearances by Patriots players. And according to their list, the GMC booth is going to have 4 Patriots, including former Patriots tight end Aaron Hernandez.
There we go.
Really?
So somebody really needs to plan this a little bit better.
He's a bit busy at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, is he going to Skype from jail or?
So he's a bit chained up at the moment.
People might go see that.
Yeah. So
Hey,
it might be your last chance to get his autograph.
That's true. He might get on a 3-hour tour. He might be little Gilligan's action. Get on a boat and see you later. Just take the 3-hour tour, Chief. Oh, he never came back.
A 3-hour tour.
Oh, Aaron Hernandez at a boat show, February 22nd. Write it down now. Bring the kids. He'll sign their guns.
It's more like
now available.
It's more like a 15 to Life tour, isn't it? Going to be for him?
Oh, yes.
Good Lord, that was
beautiful. Mark is awake tonight. Mark, what's the deal?
I don't know. Just a clear head is really just a free
He's finally recovered from this ordeal.
Yeah, you haven't blacked out. What, 15 years? Is that what you said? Something like that?
Well, it's almost 4. But
4. Hey, all right. Hey, man. Well,
it's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
I believe that is the end of the first quarter. We're going to take a quick station identification. You're going to hear a special offer from one of our sponsors, and we'll be back at the start of the second quarter.
You're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Well, I hear all that. What is an internet?
Hey, if any of you are looking for any last-minute gift ideas for me, I have one. I like my boss right here tonight. I want him brought from his happy holiday slumber over there on Melody Lane with all the other rich people, and I want him brought right here with a big ribbon on his head. And I want to look him straight in the eye, and I want to tell him what a cheap, lying, no-good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey he is. Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Now, just in time for the holidays, Seahawk Positivity Productions and 12th Man Fan Jam is proud to present the perfect gift for that hard-to-buy Seahawk fan. Yes, it's the 12th Man Fan Jam Holiday Music Album. Yes, holiday songs with a Seahawk flavor as sung by one of our very own holiday sprites, Jammy, the 12th Man Fan Jam elf. Say hi, Jammy.
When am I getting paid for this?
Okay, that's enough. Yes, join Jammy as he sings all of your favorite holiday classics with a 12th man flavor, like this classic based on Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
You know you can't pass, you know you can't run. When you play the Seahawks, it isn't much fun. The Seahawks defense is shutting you down.
Yes, indeed, the Seahawks defense is shutting you down. Or how about this twist on a holiday classic about a certain red-nosed reindeer?
Baldwin, the sure hen slot man, catches things that are thrown his way. And if you lose him on third down, he will surely make you pay.
Yes, Baldwin will surely make you pay, and of course, Jammy salutes the 12th man themselves with this classic about the noise.
Silent crowd, not very loud. The 12th man's record, something we're proud. Hey, keep it down. I'm trying to record a song here. I can't work in these conditions.
Yes, these and so many more, just like it. For example, Frosty the Snowman is now called Mebane the Lineman. Joy to the world becomes pain to the NFL world. Oh, come all ye faithful becomes oh, lose all ye Niners. And I saw mommy kissing Santa Claus becomes I saw Cam Bam thumping your offense. Order now and receive a dramatic reading of the child's classic Christmas Carol starring Steve Largent as the ghost of Seahawk teams past, Richard Sherman as the ghost of Seahawk teams present, and Russell Wilson himself as the ghost of Seahawk teams yet to come. Just send 3 easy payments of $19.99 to 12th Man Fan Jam Holiday Records, care of Seahawk Positivity Productions, P.O. Box 121212, Seahawk Nation, 3 to 89 for 7. So join Jammy, the 12th Man Fan Jam Holiday Sprite, as we enjoy the sounds of the holidays, Seahawk style.
So, about my paycheck.
Easy, Jammy. Easy now.
I want my money!
Okay, put the knife down. God. Sorry, no CODs, no personal checks, no bartering of any kind accepted. All sales are final, void, or prohibited by law. 12th Man Fan Jam does not publicly endorse or acknowledge the existence of this album. All voices are imitated except the real ones. All people were fictional except the real ones. Do not listen if you believe everything you hear on the internet. Illegal in Missouri, Texas, and small counties in northern Maine. If not satisfied with the commercial, please return all unlisted portions of this commercial to your local library. Throw the rest in a deep hole and pray to the god or gods of your choice. 12th Man Fan Jam is not personally or financially responsible for anything said in this commercial or on the rest of this program. 12th Man Fan Jam does not acknowledge or deny the existence of Santa Claus, elves, or walking, talking snowman. The 12th Man Fan Jam does not personally endorse or affiliate with any particular religion, person, or holiday. If holidays offend you, please do not accept any joy or gifts that the holiday season may offer, and pray for all of our souls using a deity or object of your choice. No elves were harmed or underpaid in the making of this commercial.
And now it's time for the second quarter of the 12th Man Fan Jam. In the second quarter, we will be discussing the good, we will be discussing the bad, and we will be discussing the ugly of last week's game. Here to take you through the second quarter is once again our host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you again, Magic Voice of the 12th Man Fan Jam. It is time for the second quarter, and it's time to take a look back at the 23-0 win for the Seahawks last week against the New York Giants. And we'll do that by doing a little good, bad, and ugly.
Hey, Moses?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that clip from Chevy sounds a lot like voicemails that he's left in real life.
I like that. That's good.
Oh, my gosh. Woo! I'm gonna lose my spot. Mark's gonna be taking over.
Just with one-liners.
That's brilliant. That is
more than Moses has got.
Yeah,
Sorry.
That's all right. I can take it. That's
what she said.
We are gonna do good, bad, and ugly, but we're gonna do a little different this week because once again it was so much good coming out of that game. It's hard to start with the good and go bad, ugly. So we're going to go reversal. We're going to go bad, ugly, and good this week. And we're going to start with a bad. And last week I called Matt ugly and he called me fat. So I don't want to do that this week. So Matt, you're bad.
Thank you, Moses. Yes, that's true. And I'm going to go with snap counts. I'm going to go with just false starts and neutral zones. I think on Facebook, I think it was you actually I was talking to at the time. It just annoyed me that we had sort of, I think it was 3 in 2, it may have been 2, but I think it was 3 false starts or 3 neutral zone infractions. And it's just, that's about as bad as it got. Do you know what I mean?
It really is. It really is.
It was, I'm sitting here thinking, what the hell can I say about a shutout game?
Yeah.
On the road, in New York, early start, shitty weather. What can you say? Well, you know, I can say snap counts. There you go.
Yeah. Scott, are the penalties kind of driving you crazy?
Yeah, they are. I think getting our guys back, you know, on the O-line is helping. It wasn't as bad as it was, you know, a couple weeks ago. But, yeah, it drives me nuts when we got guys, you know, jumping the ball, and it's not good.
Well, and to me, Matt, I think what we were talking about was not just penalties, but penalties on third down. I know one time they were a 3rd and 7 that became a 3rd and 2, and then the other time we were a 3rd and 2 that became a 3rd and 7. And that's a big difference on third down, and that's got to get cleaned up. I agree with you. Will, is that still driving you nuts, the penalties?
Well, it is. You know, there are some penalties that don't bother me as much. I mean, when we get flagged for playing hard, playing aggressively, like the defensive holdings, as long as it's a legit call, or the big hits or something like that, I don't mind that as much. But what kills me are just the mental errors, like what Matt was saying, the false starts, the offsides, the delays of game, just the stuff. You know what? We're 14 games into the season. We should be done with that by now.
Yeah. And there'll be people that say, well, we're so anxious to get off fast and rush, the quarterback that, you're going to get these sorts of penalties. But how difficult is it to watch? I mean, what they've got to do is ignore the quarterback and watch the ball. That's what they've got to do. Don't move until that ball. Don't try and anticipate what Eli Manning or anyone else is going to do. They're the masters of voice inflection. They're the masters of the little tiny movement, to draw you offside. So ignore all of that and just focus on the ball. Another bad I thought of. There was a kickoff that we did which went out of bounds, and they started at 40. I don't quite understand why we did that. They weren't running anything particularly well. Just boot the damn thing. I think it was about 30 seconds to go. So I don't really understand why we did that silly little kickoff. Just knock it out, back of the end zone or whatever, or just knock it down that way. They're not going to do anything with the ball. You don't have to start them on the 40, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yep, definitely. Right. Definitely. Mark, you have the ugly this week.
Yes, the ugly. I guess it's the thing that could best qualify. How can you really complain? How much is really ugly with a 23-0 win on the road? But I guess if we're splitting hairs here, I would say maybe red zone offense. It was 3 field goals and 2 touchdowns. It really should have been 5 touchdowns. I think we'd like to see that pick up. But boy, these are Cadillac problems, really.
Yeah.
Well, give props to their defense. I thought their defense played reasonably well.
That's true.
Their offense.
Top 10 defense, I believe.
Yeah, but their defense played reasonably well. So if you get a good offense, you get a good defense. You should expect to see red zone difficulty.
And of course, the other ugly was really Eli Manning. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh, idiots.
It was also the Seahawks MVP. It turns out. So.
I shared the story on Facebook, and I gotta tell you, I'm watching the game with my 8-year-old son, little Mo. We're watching the game, and that first interception where he threw at Sherman, and Sherman got it. He jumps up out of his chair and he points at the TV and he screams, "Eli, you're crazy! You're crazy!" And then he looks at me and makes the crazy sound in his head like he's nuts. And I'm going, "What's wrong? He's nuts! He's throwing at Sherman. He's crazy." 8-year-old.
I tell you, Sherman covers that fade route better than anybody I've ever seen. It's like he's the receiver and the other guy's the defensive back because he's in perfect position.
He is. He let's face it, we're very blessed right now in that respect. Also ugly to me, and I'm not a dancer, and it was better than me, Bane, but Bennett, bless your heart, dude, we really had to see the belly roll. I don't know. I've got one I could do that with, but I don't want to. I don't know. Anybody want to comment? Scott, any comment on his dancing moves?
I thought Mebane's was pretty good. I didn't get to see Michael's.
Michael's was kind of more of a circular, like
it was a hula hoop.
Yeah,
it was like hula hoop. It was not nice.
Give Bennett credit for keeping his jersey all the way on, at least.
That is definitely better than Mebane. But yeah, that was not something I'll be practicing anytime soon. So that leaves us with Will. Now, last week Will mentioned that when we lost, he got the good, and that when we won, he got the bad. Well, this week, Will, we won and you got the good. So knock us out. What do you got?
Woohoo! Well, and there obviously was a lot of good. Anytime you get a road shutout, you got a lot of good. Defense was lights out. I just thought the team made the most of its circumstances. I'm going to actually take a step back and just call this 23-0 win. Call this the epitome of the best road season we have ever had for this franchise. Yes. 6-2 on the road, 4-1 in the dreaded 10 a.m. starts.
Yes.
We lost 2 games by a combined 8 points.
Wow.
Did you ever think you would see this team play this good, this consistently on the road?
Actually, I'm going to disagree. I'm going to say yes. I said no, but now, and I'll tell you why, because this is a team that travels. Defense and running travels. And we never had this in the Holmgren era, and we never had it. This is a team that has a punishing defense and a punishing running game, and those are the kind of teams that can go on the road. So,
true.
In a way, I disagree. Something else good that I'd like to share from Will, because his 12th man editorial can be seen on SeahawksSal.com. He mentioned depth in that, and I think that was a wonderful point. I think if we learned anything with Maxwell's 2 interceptions, with Lane playing unbelievably on special teams and out as a defensive back, is how extremely deep this team is.
I think I just think that if our front office, if Schneider doesn't get some sort of recognition from the league for what he's built, because effectively I know it's Pete and John that do this, but what an amazing team to have put together from 5th and 6th round picks, really.
Yes.
Free agents, and at some point in the league, somebody's just got to turn around and say, do you know what? Here's the best coach award, here's the best general manager award, because it's just owed, isn't it?
Yeah, and
really.
And you know what I love about it, real quick, what I love about it is that when these moves were being made, a lot of us talked about the low risk, high reward that these picks were. And that these moves that they were doing, we only, if he doesn't work out, we're only out this. So it's a low risk, high reward. And they've almost all come back high reward.
Totally. I mean, and look at our draft. Look at our draft scores last, or 2 years ago when we were getting a D, and this, you were reaching for Bruce Irvin. You shouldn't have picked a 5'10" quarterback. You shouldn't have done it, and all of that suddenly is just evaporated as if it was never said. And I just think it's just about time that the league stood up and said, you know what, Seattle, well done, you built an amazing team there.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Scott, did we miss anything on the good?
No, I was going to say the same thing. It's just like everybody talks about on, when you look on Facebook, you look on the internet, we've got a team where regardless of the position, somebody goes out, it's next man up. And that guy can play that position just as good as the guy that he replaced. And I think that's one of the biggest factors on this team.
And I think, obviously with the Browner, not wanting to put any bad on that, but with the Browner situation, that's going on, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, whatever it was, we had every media pundit in the NFL saying that our secondary was now rubbish, that it was falling apart, that it lost part of the boom. Totally wrong, proved totally wrong. And what we've managed to do is take a third stringer and put him in and demonstrate that actually he's 2 interceptions against Manning, wasn't it, or one of the two? I mean, it's
two.
Right.
Yeah, two interceptions against. This is one the week before that as well, I think, or the Saints, whatever it was. I mean, it's we have still got, I think, the strongest defense in the league. It hasn't changed. There's nothing changed.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, remember when everybody thought we'd have to sign Antoine Winfield back?
Yes.
Right.
Holy shit, it's a 2-minute warning.
We're at the 2-minute warning, and when we usually do the 2-minute warnings, we look back at our predictions and prognostications and which is bigger, which is my favorite part of the show, which we'll talk about later. But from last week's show, of course, the predictions of the score are up on your screen right now. Will had said 27-10. Mark had said 24-17. Matt had said 28-17. I had said 30-16, and the final score was 23-0. So I think Will, with 27-10, probably the big winner there. Congratulations, Will.
Yay!
Yes, and when you get something kind of close, the kids dig it. The kids are here. Will won, so
thank you. Thank you.
That's what you get for that. The kids are happy. Meanwhile, on the prognostications, which you see on your screen right now, Will had said Lynch would get 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he actually got half of that exactly, 50 yards and 1 touchdown. So, Mark, very close. He said that Averill will get a forced fumble and a sack. He did force a fumble and get half a sack, so that's very close. I said Wilson would account for 3 touchdowns, and he only counted for 1. But Matt said Sherman would get 3 INTs. Now, Sherman got 2, but if you watch that third interception, which could have been his, he tips that ball up, and he's ready to grab it, and he looks down and see 29 sliding across, and you can visibly see him let up and let Earl Thomas get that. So I think Matt really was pretty close with 2.5 interceptions instead of 3.
Yeah, let's give it to Matt.
Let's give it to
Thank you.
Matt, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I sent you a message on Facebook, didn't I, asking you how many interceptions did I say Richard would get in this game because I couldn't remember.
Yes.
But I remember when he got the first one, and I was like, yep, chalk it up. That's one. And then when at the last minute we did the Hail Mary in the second one, I was like bouncing around the room going, yep, that's 2.
Well, and the third one, see, he was going to do it, and he saw Thomas coming, and he said, well, Matt said 3.
Damn
so
you,
I
Earl
need
Thomas.
to stop.
Damn you.
And of course, my favorite of any show, which is bigger? And last week I asked the staff here, the positivity panel, which was going to be bigger? What number was going to be bigger? The New York turnovers or the New York sacks? In other words, were we going to force more turnovers or more sacks? Now, we did force fumbles, but we did not recover any, which could have been on the ugly side a little bit because there were two instances where Eli fumbled the ball, and our guys weren't really on the ball as far as getting on the forced ball fumbles. But we won't go there. But there were 5 interceptions and 4 sacks. So the turnovers won, and that would be Mark and Matt. Mark had said 4 turnovers and 3 sacks, and there were 5 and 4. Matt had a much wider margin at 4 and 1. So I think Mark wins that one. So I think we're getting better at this, guys.
We are.
It's just like the Seahawks passing game. We're just spreading it around evenly.
We are, aren't we? Everybody's a winner tonight, which is great.
Holy shit, it's halftime.
And it's now halftime. So we will take a short little intermission here. We'll go back in the locker room, regroup, come back in the second half and talk more about the upcoming game with the Arizona Cardinals. And we'll see you at the start of the second half.
You're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Well, I hear all that. What is an internet?
Okay, people, Santa's coming to town.
Santa! Oh my God! Santa here? I know him. I know him.
On the first day of Christmas, football gave to me Jim Harbaugh whining like a bitch. On the second day of Christmas, football gave to me 2-point conversions and Jim Harbaugh whining like a bitch. On the third day of Christmas, football gave to me 3 leading victories, 2-point conversions and Jim Harbaugh whining like a bitch. On the fourth day of Christmas, football gave to me 4th downs converted, 3 leading victories, 2-point conversions, and Jim Harbaugh whining like a bitch. On the 5th day of Christmas, football gave to me 5 Super Bowl rings, 4th down converted, 3 leading victories, 2-point conversions, and Jim Harbaugh whining like a bitch. On the 6th day of Christmas, football gave to me 6 end zone dances, 5 Super Bowl rings, 4th downs converted, 3 leading victories, 2-point conversions, and Jim Harbaugh whining like a bitch. On the 7th day of Christmas, football gave to me 7 dolphins drowning, 6 end zone dances, 5 Super Bowl rings, 4th downs converted, 3 leading victories, 2-point conversions, and Jim Harbaugh whining like a bitch. On the 8th day of Christmas, football gave to me 8 deafening home games, 7 dolphins drowning, 6 end zone dances, 5 Super Bowl rings, 4th downs converted, 3 leading victories, 2-point conversions, and Jim Harbaugh whining like a bitch. On the 9th day of Christmas, football gave to me 9 cheerleaders dancing, 8 deafening home games, 7 dolphins drowning, 6 end zone dances, 5 Super Bowl rings, 4th down converted, 3 leading victories, 2-point conversions, and Jim Harbaugh whining like a bitch. On the 10th day of Christmas, football gave to me 10 yards to first down, 9 cheerleaders dancing, 8 deafening home games, 7 dolphins drowning, 6 end zone dances, 5 Super Bowl rings, 4th downs converted, 3 leading victories, 2-point conversions, and Jim Harbaugh whining like a bitch. On the 11th day of Christmas, football gave to me 11 players playing, 10 yards to first down, 9 cheerleaders dancing, 8 deafening home games, 7 dolphins drowning, 6 end zone dances, 5 Super Bowl rings, 4th downs converted, 3 leading victories, 2-point conversions, and Jim Harbaugh whining like a bitch. On the 12th day of Christmas, football gave to me 12th man screaming, 11 players playing, 10 yards to first down, 9 cheerleaders dancing, 8 deafening home games, 7 dolphins drowning, 6 end zone dances, 5 Super Bowl rings, 4 now converted, 3 leading victories, 2-point conversions, and Jim Harbaugh whining like a bitch.
This is Suffolk Blue wishing you all a very happy Christmas.
He's the stat man. He's the stat man. And here's our very own stat man. Here's Mark.
Yes, with all the numbers you need to know for the upcoming game against the Arizona Cardinals. This is our Statsman Mark. Mark, what you got for us this evening?
Hey, everybody. Well, the stats. First off, for the Arizona Cardinals, I think their most impressive stat is that they're 9-5.
Yeah, totally.
Who saw that coming? Nobody.
I had them pegged for about 6 wins the whole year, but nonetheless, offensively they are 14th in passing, 25th in rushing. Defensively, they're 17th versus the pass, number 1 versus the run. So that's something to keep in mind. Our old friend Carson Palmer, 21 TDs, 17 interceptions, a little over 3,600 yards passing. He is hitting on 64.5% for his completions. And let's see his weapons. Larry Fitzgerald, first and foremost, 73 catches, 823 yards, 10 touchdowns. And who else here? Michael Floyd, 58 catches, 919 yards, and 4 TDs. Let's see, the former Steeler, Rashard Mendenhall, 186 carries, 577 yards, barely 3 yards a carry, and 8 touchdowns. And somebody, I'm not familiar, Andre Ellington. Mm-hmm. I don't know, the name just didn't ring a bell when I looked it up. 558 yards, 5.9 a carry, and 3 touchdowns. But, I mean, he has a lot less carries than Mendenhall. Defensively, Patrick Peterson with 3 picks. Let's see, John Abraham, 11.5 sacks, and Carlos Dansby with 6.5 sacks. He has 3 interceptions, and 2 of them are pick sixes. And let's see here, Arizona's won 6 out of 7. They're +3 in giveaway takeaway, and they are 3-4 on the road for the year, soon to be 3-5. Haha. And those are your card stats.
Scott, this has kind of been a fashionable pick this week for all the pundits if they're going to pick an upset because of that defense of Arizona, 7th overall, number 1 against the run. Do you think that Beast Mode's going to have some issues this week?
I think he'll get it done. I don't think he's going to have the big game like we've seen come out of him because I think that rush defense is going to have their day and they're going to be able to stop him on the inside. But I got a feeling he's going to do one of those bust out to the outside and make it happen.
Yeah. Matt, did you expect this 9-5 out of this Cardinal team?
No, as you said, no. I don't think anyone did. It's sort of come out of nowhere. I mean, I think the one that made me sort of stand up and look was the win over Indy because it was what was it, 40 something?
Yes,
40 to 11.
Yeah. It was a big win, and I was like, well, where the hell did that come from? Because all I remember is when we played them on Thursday Night Football in Arizona because I was in Seattle. That was the last game I saw in Seattle before I flew home, and yeah, they didn't look anything at all special. No. They just looked genuinely mediocre. But yeah, who saw it coming? I don't think anyone did. I don't think they did either. To be fair.
No, probably not. Will, are you concerned about this Carson Palmer throwing the ball?
Well, the thing with Palmer is he can get yards, but he's also going to throw interceptions. And hang on, Moses, we just got a breaking news tweet from Michael Silver coming in.
Oh, what? You said a breaking news tweet from Michael Silver?
Yes, I did. Okay, according to Michael Silver's unnamed source in Washington, D.C., the Department of Justice is considering filing a federal lawsuit against the Legion of Boom on the grounds that much talent in one secondary constitutes an illegal monopoly.
Speaking of passing games.
Dear me.
First Microsoft, now the Seahawks.
See, I knew they'd try to break us up. You knew it happened.
Yep.
You knew they'd say they're just too good. Poor Mike Silver.
Oh, if they can't beat us, dismantle us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because they can't have that team from Southern Alaska win anything. Speaking of that team from Southern Alaska, Mark, what you got for the Seahawks?
Well, for our beloved Seahawks, we got offense. We are ranked 24th in passing, which has been misleading all year, but it is what it is. We are second in rushing with Marshawn. Defensively, we're first against the pass, of course. We're 10th against the rush, so I think we've improved there over the last few weeks. Russell Wilson, I'm running out of superlatives for this guy. 64.7% completions, 24 TDs, only 8 interceptions, so that's a 3-to-1 ratio. 3,077 yards, so he went over that last week. He's got 105 even QB rating. I also heard earlier, too, that his QBR, which I guess is ESPN's quarterback rating, is that right? The
yes,
QBR? Anyway, a year ago when he was rushed with 5 or more guys, his QBR was in the 50s. This year he's in the 80s when he's under more pressure. So he stepped it up big there.
QBR, didn't they, wasn't that the band that did TLC? No, that was BTO. Was it ELO? Was it ELO? ELO?
REO.
It was REM. No. It was BTO did TCB. And
OMG,
QBR.
Moses.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
REO Speedwagon? Anyway,
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Russell Wilson, we have another breaking tweet from Michael Silver.
Uh-oh.
He's on it tonight.
He's been on tonight. A breaking tweet from Michael Silver. An unnamed source has told Michael Silver that Russell Wilson will miss next week's practices due to a prior commitment to work in Santa's workshop.
Oh.
He's short, people.
Oh.
He's short.
All right, let's see here. I'll get through these others. Doug Baldwin, receiving stats. Doug Baldwin, 49 catches, 770 yards, 5 TDs. Golden Tate, 54 catches, 735 yards, and 4 TDs. So Baldwin's quietly having a really nice year. Lynch, again, amazing. 260 carries, 1,089 yards, 4.2 yards per carry this season, 11 touchdowns. That's rushing. I did not look up receiving ones if he has them. Defensively, Richard Sherman, 6 picks. Earl Thomas, 5 picks. Averill, 8 sacks. Michael Bennett, 7.5. Seattle as a team is plus 16 after the generous gifting of Eli Manning a week ago. In giveaway takeaway, we're number 3 in the NFC in what is this points scored, number 1 in points against. And another stat I saw, we lead the entire league with a plus 175 in terms of more points scored than given up, and that includes the Broncos.
Wow.
So, what else? A 14 home game winning streak. We've won 8 of our past 9. We finished, as mentioned earlier, 6-2 on the road. And I heard on ESPN earlier that Pete Carroll, in an NFL players poll, was voted the number 1 coach that players would like to play for in the league. So, here's your stats.
Nice.
Oh, my gosh. I don't even know where to start with all that. Isn't that just amazing?
It is.
Yeah. That's the Seahawks you're talking about, too. I mean, that's the thing. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Unbelievable. There was something about those stats I was going to mention, but I can't seem to remember it right now. Must not have been important, right? Oh, Marshawn Lynch, yeah. Marshawn Lynch, did you all notice? Will, did you notice watching the game on Sunday? And I don't know if this was Wilson or if this was Bevel, but it seemed like Russell was kind of motioning him out more as a receiver. And then when he was in a jam, he looked for 24 and got a couple extra yards. Did it seem to be more than usual that happening?
Definitely this week. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if that's a trend or if that's just something they spotted in New York's defense. But yeah, he was a really good receiving threat out of the backfield and split wide.
Yes.
Remember that play? I think it was in the first quarter where Wilson rolls to his right. He's got a guy in his face, scrambles around, somehow finds his way clear for a second, just dumps it off to Lynch, and Lynch gets 20 yards on the reception.
Yeah, and he was like wide open. There's no one even within, nobody was even within a mile of him. That was an amazing play.
We could see more of that, I'm thinking.
Yeah, we might. It'd be interesting. It adds an extra dynamic. I'd seen a couple of times Wilson was like motioning him to go out that way too. So I don't know if it was Bevel telling him to do that or Wilson kind of saying, spread out a little bit. Who knows? With those guys, it could be either one. Injury-wise, we want to share with our medic Matt.
Yeah, before you do that, I've got a tweet that's just come in actually from Michael Silver.
You're kidding.
He's busy.
Here's a tweet from Michael Silver.
This is a tweet from Michael Silver. An unidentified NFL source has said that Des Bryant left the field early last week, and apparently he ran straight down to the car park. He let Tony Romo's tyres down and sprayed the word "blind dumbass" on the bonnet.
Oh dear!
It's okay.
I thought that was Jerry Jones who did that.
No, it's okay though. He was just a bit emotional.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit emotional. Actually, can I just say it's probably a good thing. I thought about this because it was on NFL AM over the week where they were discussing it. I think he did exactly the right thing to leave that bench. Only because if he didn't, Dallas would have been looking for a new quarterback. Because I think what he's been told to do is walk away from the situations where he's going to smash Romo in the face. Because I think that's what's going to happen. Just walk away, and I think that's what he did. So he apparently, he's just kept on walking and ended up in New York.
So if you see Romo on the sideline with his helmet still on, we know why.
Yeah, we know why. Can you imagine that locker room? Woof.
Since this is the Dallas Cowboys we're talking about, I second that emotion.
Yes, they're just rubbish. The Cowboys are rubbish.
Just rubbish. That's a good word. What am I doing? Injuries, yes. Now, let's start with Arizona. Now, this is interesting because this comes from their own website, so I haven't picked this up from some dodgy NFL site. This is from their website. Apparently, Carson Palmer is still questionable with an ankle, and Larry Fitzgerald is also questionable with concussion, although he's likely to play. I think so is Carson Palmer, but I don't know why they haven't updated their website, really. Who else have we got on there? And also Michael Floyd is probable, although he was limited practice with an ankle injury. So there are three big sort of weapons in there. Yeah. Have got injuries on their backs, and we're not quite sure necessarily how fit they'll be to play. But certainly they didn't practice. They are listed as questionable on their site at the moment. So it may not necessarily be certainly not a healthy Cardinals that turn up 100% on Sunday. I'm not going to bother with those people because I don't know who they are. But let's look at these ones. Let's look at ours. Percy Harvin and the hip. I'm getting bored of the hip now. It's like that excuse that you get at school where you keep getting a note from your mum that says I can't do PE because I've got an ingrown toenail.
Yes.
I'm bored of the hip, Percy. You need to play. Yeah, you need to play now. I'm bored. So not happy with that at all. We've got J.R. Sweezy's out with a concussion. So guard out, and obviously KJ Wright is now Terminator in the foot with lots of metal. So he's also out. So out and out. Zach Miller, we had limited. He didn't practice on Wednesday, but he did practice on Friday and Thursday, and is probable. Richard Sherman didn't practice on Friday with a hip. He is probable. Robert Turman had a groin injury. He's probable. Chris Clemens is probable, and Cam Chancellor is probable.
All right.
So the only three out are Sweezy, Wright, and Harvin.
All right. That's your injury update. Any comments about that, guys, other than we want to talk about Harvin's hip for another week?
Well, and I think you guys touched on it last week with Harvin's hip. Even if we had him running routes out there just to distract, and pull some guys toward him, I think that would be a big thing. I don't remember who talked about it last week, but I think that would be a plus for us. Get some guys going toward Harvin and open up for Baldwin and Tate.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's losing value because he's having so few games, he's played in one game and handled the ball 4 times, I think. So by the time, if they're saying, we'll just bring him on in, during the playoffs, or we'll bring him on in and later down the line, there's not a lot of time left for him to get sort of game ready. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
I'd much rather have Golden Tate out there. I'd much rather have even Lockett. You know, give me those people. They're tried and tested at the moment, and they're winning.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
And that's the end of the third quarter. We'll be back with the fourth quarter with our predictions, our prognostications, and our which is bigger. And I'll try to fix my tongue here as we go to a short break.
You're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Well, I hear all that. What is an internet?
You got tools. Santa paid good money for those tools. You can't build with the tools you have. You can't build garbage. You are garbage. Hit the bricks, pal, and beat it because you are going out.
Hey, our tools are weak.
Your tools are weak. The effing tools are weak. You're weak. I've been in this business for 615 years.
Hey, what's your name?
Screw you. That's my name.
And now it's time for the fourth quarter of the 12th Man Fan Jam. Here to lead us through the final quarter is once again our host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you again, Magic Voice of the 12th Man Fan Jam. It's time to start our fourth quarter with predictions and prognostications.
Hey, Moses?
Yes,
Moses?
sir. Yes,
sorry to interrupt. On that last station identification, how did you get Alec Baldwin's voicemail to his daughter?
Oh, Daddy, what's your name? Screw you. That's my name.
What's in your wallet?
You can't do your chores with these tools. You're garbage. Well, before we do our predictions and prognostications, it is the season of giving, and I have been able to secure presents for all of the gentlemen on the panel this evening. So I want to start with Mark. Mark, you got your present there if you want to go ahead and rip into that. There you go, Mark.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a reversible hat. It's the Seahawks on the outside, and then it's the 49ers on the inside, so you can go undercover. Never worry about getting captured again like you were earlier this year by angry 49er fans.
Well, I'm afraid I got to keep the Seahawks part out and just suffer the consequences again.
Yeah, well, and just let the 49er part get all stinky. I wouldn't, have a problem with that. Will, do you have a cat?
I do have a cat, Moses.
What's your cat's name?
Her name is Lucy.
Lucy. I got a present for you and Lucy here. Let's go ahead and open that up there. Let's see.
Ow! Paper cut.
Sorry. Yeah, it's
wow.
It's a cat jersey. Yeah, I know you'd love it. It says 12th Man on the back instead of 12th Man. I figured, that Lucy would love that, and I figured you would too. These presents.
Okay, Lucy, let's try this on. No, wait, don't. Ow! Hey. Well, that needs a little work, but thank you, Moses.
Is Lucy
I
a
appreciate
Niner
it.
fan? What's the deal there?
No, she just hates clothing.
Okay, I understand that. Well, I can return it for you. Matt,
yes.
We'll save you for last because you're my partner in crime. So we're going to go to our Scott, our guest panelist this evening. Scott, you want to go ahead and open that present up there? It's a, isn't it nice? It's a Largent jersey made of cheese. I thought you would enjoy that from where you're from.
You know what? That's really going to come in handy around this area.
I figured it would.
The Packer fans are going to attack him now, though.
I work with a couple Packer fans, so I'll have to be careful wearing this.
They'll be confused.
Pop it in their head.
Yes, they'll be very confused. And then, of course, finally,
yes,
my partner in crime, Matt.
What'd you get me?
Well, let's take a look here. See what you got.
Ooh.
Yes, it's an autographed picture of Brandon Browner's groin. Just what you want.
I've already got 3 of those.
Well, you can always sell one on eBay.
Yep, brilliant. Fantastic. Thanks for that.
Oh, you're very welcome. Predictions and prognostications and which is bigger. That is what we're going to talk about right now. And as usual, we start with our guests. Scott, what we're looking for here is a score prediction And we're also looking for a prognostication, something that's going to show up in the scoreboard that we may be surprised about. So, Scott, it's been great having you on the show this evening, by the way.
Well, thanks for having me. I had a good time. I'm going to say the Seahawks are going to come out on top on this one. They're going to keep that home win streak going. I'm going to go with a 28-14 score. And I'm going to say that it's going to be Russell Wilson with 3 touchdowns.
Okay.
3
now,
passing touchdowns.
3 passing?
Yep.
Okay. 3 passing touchdowns. All right. Next, we'll have our Statsman Mark.
Yes. Let's see here for the Seahawks. On one of the fan forums, I posted a 31-16 Seahawks win. And, I think I see Golden Tate catching 2 of the 3 RW touchdown passes that Scott just mentioned. So I'll call 2 touchdowns for Tate.
Nice. 2 touchdowns for Tate. All right. Very good. Will?
Well, I think the Cardinals are going to come in and play us pretty tough. I think they've got a little chip on their shoulder after being beat down 58-0 last year. So I think they would just love to come in and spoil things for us. It's not going to happen, but they're going to give it their best shot. I'm going to say 24-13 Seahawks, and I'm going to go a little different on my prognostication. I'm going to say that Lemuel Jean-Pierre starts in place of J.R. Sweezy and does not allow a single sack.
Okay.
Nice.
That is nice. Does not allow a sack. Interesting. Everyone's picking this close game, and they really should, and I should give the more respect than I'm going to give them in my score. But I just something about this team that we have that has a tendency to play these good teams, and when people come in and the media gets excited, oh, it's a good team playing Seattle, this could be the upset, this could be the game that they fall, and what happens? Seattle trounces them. So I'm going 31-13. I know that's crazy, and I respect the Cardinals way more than I'm giving here, but I'm going 31-13 Seahawks, and I'm going to say that Carson Palmer will panic and start flinging the ball, and he will throw 4 interceptions against the Seahawks. Wow. That's my big daring prognostication.
I hope we're all right.
Oh, wouldn't it be great if we all are?
Don't I get a pick in?
Well, do you want one?
Well, I haven't had a score or a prognostication.
Well, Matt, I guess I can have one from you if you want one.
Well, I don't know now whether I want to.
Hey, Matt.
Okay.
Matt, you have a score.
I do have a score. Yeah, I think it's going to be 38-14, and I don't give the Cardinals any credit at all. And I think that Red Bryan is going to block and run in and score one.
Bryant's going to score a touchdown.
Yep.
Oh, block a kick.
Repeat of Chicago, huh?
Yep. Ooh. He's going to high step it in again. I like that. It was
well,
good.
No high stepping. We don't want him to pull anything.
That's true. That's true.
That was the funniest damn thing I've ever seen, though, to be fair.
Wasn't that great?
So, did I get everybody now? Matt, I apologize.
Yeah, that's all right. I was going to give you your Christmas present, which was a Bruce Turban jersey.
Oh, Bruce Turban jersey!
But I'm not going to give you that, because you missed me out.
Bruce Turban, the love child I created last year between Bruce Irvin and Robert Turban. I came out with Bruce Turban. Who is my favorite player. What number would that be? Would that be number 5122 or?
14 and a half.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Holy shit, it's a 2-minute warning.
Well, it is time for the 2-minute warning. In a 2-minute warning, we play my favorite game of the show. And that is, of course, which is bigger. Yes, the time when I asked you to think of 2 numbers from the stat sheet for the upcoming game between your Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals, and I asked you to decide which number will be bigger. Last week I went with the Giants only. This week I am going with both teams. And my question for you, and we'll start with Matt since I forgot him on the scores. Mm-hmm. Matt, which is bigger, the Cardinal penalties or the Seahawk penalties?
Seahawk penalties.
Okay.
It's just one of those things which we haven't managed to get a handle of yet. So I'm afraid it's going to be, and it won't be silly things like false starts this time. It's going to be pass interference calls, which I don't mind if they happen in the first quarter, because I think you have to get some of those to sort of judge just how sort of tough the reffing is going to be. So I think you have to sort of have a little push here and a tug there and see how you get on. That'll be the first quarter, but I think it's going to be us.
All right. Will, what do you think?
Well, looking at both teams' history, it's the easy bet to say Seattle, but I'm going to say Seattle actually has a relatively good game, and I think the Cardinals are going to have a little more trouble with our crowd noise than they want to admit. So I'm going to say Cardinal penalties.
All right.
Do you reckon, have they bought any of those earplugs like the Saints did?
Oh, I don't know.
Those plug-in
They
earplugs.
worked so well for New Orleans, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Let's give them a go.
What?
Anything's worth a try.
Anything's worth a try. Matt, do you have stock in the company, or?
Yeah, I actually made them and sent them out there.
Way to go.
They're crap.
We thank you for that. Mark.
Yes. Boy, let's see here. Penalties. Offensively, we shouldn't have trouble like others have mentioned with false starts or anything. And defensively, it's going to be hard to get penalties when we're forcing a lot of 3 and outs. So I will say I'll say the Cardinals. I think the 12th man forces 3 false starts, and overall we'll have fewer, and the Cardinals will have more penalties.
Very nice. Scott, which is bigger this weekend, the Cardinal penalties or the Seahawk penalties, number-wise?
I think number-wise, it's going to be the Cardinals. In the games that I've been out there, I got to say that 12th man out there is something else. I normally get to see the Seahawks on the road, and it's nothing like being there. And I think the Arizona Cardinals are going to have trouble with this. We're going to back them up. We're going to cause those false starts, and I think they're going to have more penalties than we are.
All right. Well, I think everybody has gone, so I will finish up. Matt, you've gone?
I've gone.
Okay. I know, I'm just teasing. I'm going to agree with everybody else. Even though Matt was quick to say Seahawks, I'm going to say the Cardinals, because of the same reason a lot of you mentioned. I feel like maybe we're going to get a couple false starts, and I think they're going to get sloppy at the end. I think they're going to panic. Like I said, if it's going to be 31-13 kind of game, I think they're going to get sloppy and start panicking a little bit. I think we'll see some key holding calls on them on offense. I think defensively they'll start grabbing as well out in the backfield, and I just think it's going to be you put that together with the false starts. I think the Cardinals are going to just edge out the Seahawks in penalties.
Wow,
Hopefully not.
You guys are really all positive, aren't you, about that?
Yeah,
I mean, you're all wrong, but it's
You're on an
still
island.
amazing.
You're on an island, but
You dare
That's
to be
true, I
different,
am.
Matt. And yeah,
Oh, I'm there. I'm out there.
but that's all right, because you're on an island, but you could be the only one right next week. But let's hope you're all wrong.
Well,
Let's hope
It
you
won't.
are. Yes, they won't. And this happened, though. It is time to wrap up another wonderful, wonderful holiday edition of the 12th Man Fan Jam. Wow, was that fun or what? And educational. We've learned so much.
I know. Amazing.
It's been wonderful. We want to thank you all so much for making us a part of your Seahawk weekly tradition this week. We want to thank our panelists. We want to thank our special guest, Scott. Scott, thanks again for coming on, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me, Moses. I had a great time.
It's been awesome. Statsman Mark, good to hear from you again.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.
Shadowhawk Will.
thanks everybody. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And, of course, my partner in crime, Matt.
Happy holidays, everybody.
As well as all of you out there listening. We hope you smiled a lot and laughed a little. On behalf of all of us, this is your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity, saying happy holidays and enjoy the game on Sunday, and go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.